let's jump in here for barrel theory. We have quite the onslaught here, and I know everyone's going to be checking them out once we get to the X for some of the upcoming games. Important note here, though, because I'm going to try my best to get out here for it. There is a delightful slate of beers coming out, and we always tell you about the sours, the IPAs. They've still got those in spades, but they have 3 barrel-aged stouts that are launching on Black Friday. One is Cinnamon Toast Crunch themed. One has Thai banana, Nilla wafers, cacao. Sounds delightful. And another one that I can specifically speak for, the Arcane Stargazer, which they released at their anniversary party. It was my favorite of the barrel-aged beers they released there. If you're into the barrel-aged, heavy, dark beers, get out there, support barrel theory, and again, grab whatever you can when you go out to the X. All right. First hot take here for Keyboard Warriors, Joe. Elliotte Friedman on 32 Thoughts claims that he believes Utah HC should remain Utah HC beyond this year.
I mean, it'd make it unique of all the teams in the league. But I still think they should have an actual name, like Yetis or whatever, actual name.
Out of the ones they're looking at, Yeti is definitely where I'd lean to. I think it appeals to like the soccer fans is like a big thing he likes. It's like, oh yeah, like anyone that's into soccer overseas or here, like the FC thing, like don't call it the hockey club. It's Utah HC is basically the team name. And I also it'd be interesting where you could essentially have like rotating mascots if you don't actually have like a team mascot, but it's definitely a Friedman thing. I don't strongly lobby for it, but once he said it, I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Next one, just real quick. I just need to say this for everyone because I feel like it's a hot take, but we don't need to get into it because you apparently agree. Cranberry sauce and pumpkin pie should not be on the Thanksgiving table. Garbage, trash, get it the hell out of here. Joe, I know you've got no arguments. We don't even have to discuss this. It's going to be a pretty non-eventful, and that's probably what's going to draw all the comments from people. Next one here was a little bit of a thread. I'll skip most of it, but it's essentially to the effect of the Kajula hit, right? And it leads to Derek Felska saying, Foligno seems to accept a lot of reasons not to do his job lately. He just complained after Hathaway's cheap shots to Eriksson Ek. It's really not that hard. You don't let him skate away. You bring on a scrum. Then perhaps the next shift, he takes you. You send out 38 or 94 to go after him, and kind of looped into the same discussion to condense this a little bit. Kalisha on Twitter says the Wild need to find a way to trade for Arbor Jacki from the Canadians. He stood up to Pare for kneeing Patrick Laine. He also took out Reeves, Zach Cassian, and Adam Lowry with little problems. He's a killing machine, but also brings sneaky offensive ability. People have been going nuts online, Joe. Do we have a problem with not having enforcers? Do we need to find a way to protect Kirill Kaprizov? Are we panicking here?
More of a panic move. I mean, they had Ryan Reeves, the quote-unquote best enforcer in the league, and Ryan Suter gave him tomahawk chops to the back, Kaprizov in front of the net how many times, right? So, like, I mean, I think you can have guys that hold people accountable but have the biggest enforcer in the league. You need to have guys who can play actual hockey to be on their team. So I think the guys can do better overall. And you see Ryan Hartman stick up for guys, Foligno stick up for guys, but there's got to be a way to do it, without trying to need to actually get this guy just because he can maybe, quote unquote, scare somebody else, So I think it's more of a knee jerk thing. They can do a better job overall holding people accountable, but I don't think there's a big overall need.
I think in today's NHL, it's pretty tough to force someone to combat you. Like Middleton tried to go after him and he's like, oh, sure, I'll fight Boldy. Cool. You can't make someone fight you. You can do things to get in their face, but if they're not going to comply, what the heck do you do? The enforcer role isn't what it was 20 years ago. So I think it's been way overblown. And I think saying that Foligno isn't doing his job is crazy. He's played great hockey. I don't know what more you want to see from him unless you think that he's going to be the leading point getter. At which point,
I mean, he sticks up for guys. He's a great leader in the room. Like overall, he's been healthy this year, which has been great. Like, and he is a guy that guys don't like fighting. He's a guy that can be that hold people accountable. And I know Jake Middleton's a guy who can do that, and Hartman and whoever. And in theory, guys like Trennan or whoever. But yeah, I mean, Foligno's not a guy you really should take shots at for what he can or can't do in that particular thing, because he's one of the guys who in previous years has been able to do that more often than not.
Yeah, agreed. But I mean, this is a lame hot take segment when we completely agree, but I know people in the comments are going to hate the Utah HC thing. They're probably going to find ways to bash Trennan in the Wild topic, and I know there's people out there that love their cranberry sauce and their pumpkin pie. So
I'm sorry, not me.
You guys come at us because I'm sorry, you're wrong. I'm not even going to make this like a discussion. You are incorrect if you think that those are good accompaniments on Thanksgiving. That's almost as bad as having like ham or something like that instead of turkey. That's the lowest form of Thanksgiving.